And we welcome you to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. As we get set for the Georgia Bulldogs, opening the season ranked number 3 in the country and hosting what should be an FCS playoff contender this season, the Governors of Austin Peay. And we welcome you to Sanford Stadium. I'm Beth Mullins along with Anthony Becht. Rocky Boyman is with us today as well. Anthony, it's a Georgia team that played for a national championship a year ago. They think they've got the pieces in place to be in that title hunt again.
Well, there's only one way to do it. We've seen the Clemsons and the Bamas of the world. They don't rebuild, they reload. And this is what Kirby Smart has done. He's gone out and got some of the best young talent in the country. The question is, can he coach them up and get them ready to go to play now for this rugged SEC schedule?
They've got the SEC's Freshman of the Year back as well at quarterback in Jake Fromm. And we do anticipate at some point today we will also see Justin Fields, the #1 recruit in the nation, playing a little QB for the Dogs. Austin Peay winning the toss. They have deferred, so Georgia will take the field first. It's Mecole Hardman, an all-SEC punt returner, back deep for the Bulldogs, and Austin Peay will keep it away from him and kick it to the up man instead. And it's Brian Herrien who will bring it out across the 40 in a return of 24 yards. So Jake Fromm, the sophomore from Warner Robins, Georgia, Anthony.
Well, listen, there's a couple attributes I want to show. And it's the it factor, right? Pressure in the pocket. Fourth quarter in the Rose Bowl. Instead of running this to get 2 or 3 yards, he finds his tailback, Sony Michel, gets a big gain. He's worked on the deep ball a ton, but I saw a lot of dropping dimes last year on tape. He gets Hardman down the sidelines for a touchdown. Beth, I'm excited. He's only a sophomore. So much more room to grow.
On the ESPN Freshman All-America team last season. And so much poise he showed in that postseason run for Georgia. They'll open up with 4 receivers. And this is the new tailback, DeAndre Swift, replacing Sony Michel and Nick Chubb, the dynamic duo last year. And the 6'2 sophomore, 220 pounds, had a couple of TD passes in both the SEC championship and their semifinal win.
Extremely high football IQ. He commands the offense. You'll see him walk to the line of scrimmage several times and make things happen because he's mastered the playbook.
Out of the gun and out of the backfield is Swift. And he will lunge across midfield and pick up the gain of about 8 to move the chains. Earlier this week, the Kirk Herbstreit, the Herbie Awards, he gave Swift his Breakout Star Award this preseason. Big things expected. He's the lone setback. Trying to break a tackle in the backfield and does, and is able to salvage a couple of yards. Nate Howard, the transfer from Missouri, is the guy who missed him.
Well, we talked about everything he can do. He can run in between the tackles. He's got breakaway speed. He's able to get big plays. But I think this is the asset right here. Catching the ball, taking it to the house. You see those big thighs that he has to run through. Gaping holes. This offensive line is all back from last year except one man out of Philadelphia, I should say. I love this sophomore running back.
He's going to catch his breath right now. Elijah Holyfield is in the backfield. They may have upwards of 4 or 5 guys to choose from back there. Crumpton with the catch and another first down. Akil, the coaches told us, had the best camp of any guy on the team coming into the new year. Here's our first look at the true freshman out of Miami, James Cook, now in at tailback, the younger brother of Dalvin. He'll get a touch. The swing pass down inside the 30-yard line. Let's go down to the field and Rocky Boyman. They are going to be a fun bunch to watch, those young backs and the 4 underclass starting linemen. This is Mecole Hardman. The receiver screen, good for another first down.
Agent's job of getting some belief, and they played 3 FBS schools last season, so they're ready for this challenge.
3rd and 3 now for Jake Fromm in the offense. Looking left, he'll throw that way, incomplete, broken up by Davis, intended for Tyler Simmons. And the Austin Peay D holds in the red zone. It's 4th down. Third-year starter Rodrigo Blankenship, the junior out of Marietta, will come on to attempt the 34-yarder. Hit on 20 of his 23 attempts a year ago. Good for 87% accuracy. first points on the board of the new season for third-ranked Georgia, and a 3-0 lead over Austin Peay. They'll get the ball to Montgomery. Slips one tackle and then pushed out of bounds. Number 3, Tyson Campbell, is a guy we'll keep an eye on in the secondary for Georgia. He is the true freshman out of Plantation, Florida.
Beth, just looking at him up close, Tyson Campbell, a freshman. He has what all coaches love, and that's length. 6'2", 185 pounds, and he can run.
They don't want to rest on the laurels of an SEC championship and a Rose Bowl win. Here's a 3rd and 8 for Austin Peay. And the pitch to Wilson, and he has the first down, driving out across the 35-yard line. J.R. Reed with the tackle.
Nice little play design by Austin Peay. They just basically try to cut down everybody, and that'll be some of the new things. The linebackers that aren't experienced, Jawan Taylor, Monty Rice, Crowder, some of the guys don't have as many snaps. Just understanding nuances of the game, getting cut, not getting cut, playing in space, just having a feel of what is being asked for them on defense. They'll have some of that to work with today against Austin Peay.
Replacing 3 starting backers from last year, of course, with the first-round pick Roquan Smith. And off the miscue on the snap, Oatsfall tried to hook up with a receiver, incomplete. It was DeAndre Walker, the outside backer, coming at him. Was the 6th best rushing team in FCS, over 250 yards rushing per game a year ago. They are without Kentel Williams, one of their starting running backs today. He's out with a suspension for a couple of games. Receiver screen. Wilson's going to come up a couple yards short. William Poole, the sophomore out of Atlanta, with the coverage. Starting out today 4 of 6 to 4 different receivers with a catch. And now it's Swift breaking tackles out to the 35-yard line and a run of 15. Gunnar Shalato, the top tackler for the Governors, with the stop.
So much strength and power in his lower body. You see the push, the holes. He doesn't get touched till about 5 yards up the line. So it's going to be one of those days with a back like Swift.
Georgia picking up the tempo on a very hot and humid day in Athens, and it's to Swift out to the 45.
Young man today.
He's up against a really good one, and Andrew Thomas, who's made the move from right tackle to left tackle this year. From, with time, Brian Herrion out of the backfield. Nice twist at the 50, and that'll get him about 10 more yards as he left Shalato behind.
Beth, you got all this talent at wide receiver, and all of a sudden it's like, where do you find the balls to get to when you have so many backs that have fresh legs? Herrion, Holyfield, Swift, Cook, all these guys can catch the football. Fromm is going to have a ton of weapons at his disposal.
And that's where Michelle was so good last year, catching the ball out of the backfield. Right now, already 2 Georgia running backs looking like they can do the same.
Fromm, Riley Ridley down inside the 30, and they're getting the yardage in chunks for Georgia.
Yeah, they play a very basic defense. They want to keep everything in front of them and avoid the big play.
4 receivers, including the tight end, Nod of the motion man here on 3rd and 7. Fromm all day. Swift gonna have to get it himself, and he does. Hurdling a defender at the 19. First down, Georgia. 6 carries for the 34 yards. Fromm, Ridley, caught at the 3, into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. They got to hustle here to get the snap off. They do just in time. Trouble on the pitch. Ball on the deck. The scramble for it. And Georgia's got it. DeAndre Walker.
Well, another linebacker, Beth, in the mix. He's an old hat, but Nate Triz, Patrick, number 6. Look at the speed on this poor pitch by Oatsfall. Doesn't give his tailback a shot at all. The big linebacker smashes down Tanner and able to get that ball to pop out. so that his teammates can jump on it. DeAndre Walker does a nice job of scraping that out with one arm and making a big play.
That was just some muscle for Natrez Packett to force it. We got Savage shoulder pads. We got the dog bone there. Oh boy, we got all kinds of activity. The turnovers happening for Georgia, and they are set up inside the 10. Swift with the cutback touchdown.
Getting lined up.
Self-inflicted.
You're right.
Yep.
Lining up, getting in the right spots. Again, you've got to be clean when you play a team like Georgia.
It's got to be some nerves.
Craig, his first pass attempt and a completion out to the 35-yard line of D'Angelo Wilson. And there's a first down throw.
If I'm the offense here, Austin Peay, as we get bigger on our screen, I want to check out the freshman corner we talked about, number 3. You see him right here. That's going to be Campbell. He's a true freshman. I know he's a stud, but maybe you take a chance down the field with him one-on-one.
We'll run the end around away from him this time. And it's D'Angelo Wilson, tracked down by J.R. Reed. But getting back to Tyson Campbell, a top 10 recruit overall coming out of high school, the second-rated cornerback. He's a sprinter, too, a state champ.
Yeah, and Kirby Smart is funny. He said, listen, we're going to put him out there. We think he's great. But if he messes up or he makes any mistakes, I'll be quick to pull him and put somebody else out. So the clamps and the pressure is always on the players. That's how he gets the maximum ability out for each one of these guys.
Tyreek McGee, another one of their defensive backs, out today with a foot injury. The toss to DJ Montgomery. And another first down for Austin Peay. Everybody chasing North Dakota State, and JMU put a scare into NC State today. On this, the anniversary, by the way, of the Appalachian State upset over Michigan. We'll throw that out. This may be it for the first quarter. A good one for the Georgia Bulldogs. Jake Fromm with a touchdown pass. They force a turnover, score some points off of that. DeAndre Swift, his first touchdown run of the new season. And we are set to take a break and hydrate before the second quarter on a hot and steamy day in Athens, Georgia. Dog Nation excited about the third-ranked team in the land. What's it going to take to get that extra inch to win the national championship next time around? 3rd and 2 here for the Governors. Look like some confusion in the backfield, but Javon Craig will clear it up and get the first down.
Yeah, because sideline to sideline, a little heavier back. It's tough to keep him in there and run with some of these younger linebackers.
3rd and 1. Quarterback will keep, and it's going to be close. Monty Rice able to track him down, and the spot has him short by about a yard. Looks like it's at the 20.
It's a nice job here. And you see Craig, he's got some movement skills. He's actually a really good runner himself, but you see the speed of the linebacker position just tracking down. Monty Rice does a nice job. We just talked about him. The speed of the backer sideline to sideline is about as intense as it's ever been for Georgia.
A linebacker's got to be able to sort his way through the trash. That was an excellent job by Monty Rice in that play. Patient, and then, wow, went and got him.
Logan Birchfield, a 37-yard attempt. And it is no good. Missed it left. Chance for Austin Peay. They come up empty. 17-zip Dogs. Oh boy, Adnan Burke, we were talking about that game earlier today. May revisit that in a moment, but first we want to get to the debut of Justin Fields, the #1 ranked recruit in the country. The true freshman out of Kennesaw, Georgia. And Harrison High School is now in at quarterback. And he'll hand it off to Elijah Holyfield. May have gotten a yard. So the pride of the Harrison Hoyas is in, who originally committed to Penn State, switched to Georgia, the #1 overall ranked player in the ESPN 300 class. And oh, by the way, spent some of his summer playing for Cam Newton's 7-on-7 All-Star team. He is Justin Fields.
Big arm, very strong in the pocket. Get it down the field. He's just been remarkable, and that we're going to see some of that today. And this is another attribute he brings to the table: a power runner taking on a TV right there. That's pretty good. You got to watch that. I know he's amped up. He doesn't want to take on big hits, but he is 225 pounds. He's as big as any quarterback in the country as a freshman.
Anthony, I saw him before the game, and if Georgia needs some snaps at pass rusher, he could do that too. Just an exceptionally well-built guy.
Had the wherewithal on that run to switch from the inside arm to carry it in the left hand. 3rd down and a few. They'll run the end around, and it's the new guy, Demetrius Robertson. The transfer from California, coast to coast, touchdown Dogs.
Beautiful blocks by the tight ends on the outside to spring this. But hey, welcome back to the state of Georgia. Nice job. I thought I'd see him catch a ball first. Look at his speed down the sideline, 72 yards. That's a way to start and bring it back home for Demetrius Robertson. You know, Rocky, they talked about Roquan Smith being an eraser, a guy that made a lot of wrongs, right? Because he was just able to go out there and make plays happen. Talk about what the talent some of these young players are going to have to deal with at this position with so much competition.
Well, just that term, eraser. I played with the Colts with a guy named Bob Sanders. That was him. He was an eraser because he just erased any mistake you might make, and it allowed the rest of the defense to be aggressive because he knew Bob was going to just clean it up.
Pass broken up. They went after the freshman again, Tyson Campbell. He had the coverage on Sumara.
You know, but one of the things, Rocket, I think that's going to be important, you know, we talk about the linebackers. The reason why the linebackers run freely is because of the big guys up front. Ledbetter, you see Clark, all these players that are going to be coming in here. Rochester in the middle, he's got to fill big shoes at the defensive line position. So they're the ones that keep everyone occupied, keep the blockers off them to make big plays.
There's no question about it, and they're going to miss John Atkins. They're going to miss Trenton Thompson. Those were 2 space-eating defensive tackles last year that let a 215-pound Roquan Smith roam. So that's certainly a question mark on this team to be answered.
Dumped off underneath, incomplete. Craig was looking for his tight end, Trey Pruitt. That was one of the freshmen, Brenton Cox, #1 right there, bringing some heat alongside the senior DeAndre Walker.
Expansive playbook. Jim even told us yesterday that, listen, it took a full year. Jake didn't really have all the protections down last year at the quarterback position, and he's highly intelligent. So it's going to be a learning process. Games like this against Austin Peay, get a nice lead. These are valuable reps that this young man can get.
Fields tucks it, runs, takes out the umpire out to the 45-yard line. Straight drop with time, now looking for an alley to run, and he finds one and scoots out of bounds around the 34-yard line. Got away from Gunnar Shilato and a gain of 18.
Yeah, he's got all day. He's got a great offensive line in front of him. He's got 2 players on the outside. It's a 2-man route, max protection, good way to protect your quarterback. Nobody's there. You got 4 defenders in the back covering 2 routes. And this is the element that he has. He has the speed. I mean, he's going to run right by the linebackers, get in the open field, and get a huge game on a play that was well covered by Austin Peay.
And Kirby Smart was not attributing any of this, by the way, to the changes in the redshirt rule. You know, freshmen now, you can play in 4 games. You can play an entire 4 games and not burn your redshirt. He says, hey, we got a lot of guys who are ready to play regardless.
Yeah, it's a competition, and I think it's going to be that way every day in practice. And Rocky talked about the practices, the intensity. I mean, you got 2 teams rolling at the same time on both sides of the field every single day, and they're going to play the best players, and you're going to have to earn it every single week.
Fields, the crossing route, Riley Ridley, first down inside the opportunity as he picks up 12 yards.
Yeah, and that attributes to the power run game, the gap runs where your guards have to pull. They don't do much of that anymore because of the fact that they want to be bigger because the D tackles are bigger.
Holyfield breaking tackles. Touchdown. What a run by Elijah. 17 yards across the width of the field.
Holyfield is a between the tackle guy. Extremely powerful, Beth. He's the kind of player that when you get down in this red zone area, I can predict that he's going to have a lot of touchdowns, a double-digit potential this year because of the fact that he's so powerful.
The perfect start to the season for the Dogs.
Cutting back, making plays, getting downhill, making people miss. If it's Swift, is it Holyfield, is it Cook? They got a lot of guys making plays.
Play after play watching him last year just make those plays in space. Incredible.
Well, started out early on in the year with that big road win up at Notre Dame last year. On 3rd and 3, Brenton Cox mauled the quarterback, forcing the quick pitch. And look at this second chance opportunity. Nope, whistle dead. Whistle dead. And the stuff by the Georgia D. Lot of red jerseys in the backfield, Anthony.
You know, it's amazing. They're trying to read option a defensive lineman and not block him. They get a really nice pitch, but look who's on the spot, number 2, Richard LeCount. He's right there to make a big play and tackle in the backfield. They just got so many players that you have to block because there's so much speed. If you don't get your hands on them, they're going to make the play, and that's what's going to make Georgia such a dynamic defense. The deep ball, I thought he did well, but you know, if you listen to Jake Fromm, he wants to just work on timing, the quick drops, the footwork. He said he watched a lot of Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason. You know, 2 younger quarterbacks, especially Garoppolo, who hasn't played a lot of games, but he just says that's the kind of player he envisions himself being, a guy that can move in the pocket quickly, have an adjustment to the left or the right, and then be able to throw a nice, almost an awkward throw accurately to his receivers to make plays. We've seen it today, Rocky. So many weapons, so many guys can catch balls. He can go anywhere on any given play, and he just wants to improve that interior footwork in the pocket. And you just can't do that. You got to live another day, put yourself in a position to win.
Good protection again. Wide open is Hardman at the 40. Inside the 10. Mecole Hardman, touchdown, Georgia. They are averaging 10 yards per play today. That'll move some chains.
Yeah.
They'll take the knee to end the half. 38-0. An impressive start to the season for the Georgia Bulldogs at the half here in Athens. And now let's get you back to the studio with Adnan Vert. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by PlayStation 4. Great start for the 3rd-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, 38-0. They did it through the air. They got it done on the ground. They had some explosive plays.
Our game.
They were 8-4 a year ago in the Ohio Valley Conference in FCS, second-place finish. Their most wins in 40 years. It's been a remarkable turnaround for this program, a bit overmatched through that first half of play. So a lot of pride right now. In fact, the team spent a little extra time on the field during the half. They got a 2nd and 4 here. Good push again by Eric Stokes to get right into the backfield with Mamadou, a loss of 3. They'll have to deal with Jackson State and UT Martin later this month. Looking deep downfield, incomplete. Almost had the hookup with Corey Simmons.
We saw maximum protection, so he gets the time to survey the field and try to find the open receiver. If not, he goes. Where Fromm right now understands protections, pointing guys out, doing different things. So the playbook a little bit different when both guys are in the game.
And there's the completion. Out to the 38-yard line. Caught by Trey Blunt, the sophomore from Atlanta, and a pickup of 19.
A couple years ago, my alma mater, Notre Dame, they had Deshaun Kaiser and Malik Zaire, and I felt like they kind of went back and forth developing both those guys and never really developed one.
Well, Fromm's 10 times better.
Almost intercepted.
Both of those guys.
No, there's no question. I'm not arguing that, but I just think, I just wonder if you need to, go with a guy, and so the quarterback isn't always looking over his shoulders, and then again, utilize Fields as a guy from the 20-yard line in. Say, hey, you get to the 15, you get to the 20, you're coming in and kind of do what you do.
Up in South Bend, and the big win for them, and really got the ball rolling. The one regular season blemish, the loss to Auburn, which they avenged in the SEC final. But for Georgia fans, my goodness, you whooped up on Tennessee and on Georgia Tech and on Florida as you got into the playoff, winning in the Rose Bowl in dramatic fashion, and then playing in the final in Atlanta. 3rd and 5, and they will not get the distance. D'Angelo Wilson with the catch, and D'Angelo Gibbs with the cover. Rocket. See, so was Ole Miss. Auburn still playing against Washington, Tennessee right now, battling West Virginia. Of course, Texas A&M in the Jimbo Fisher era opened with a big win a couple nights ago. James Cook with the burst. Inside the 20-yard line, shoved out by Malik Davis.
All these guys have so many different talents. They can catch the ball. They can go out and run between the tackles. They can run a reverse.
Oh, what a move by the tight end, Isaac Nauta, spinning away from the defender. 12 yards for the touchdown.
Now, the tight ends only caught 22 balls as a group last year, Beth, 41 the year before. Isaac Nauta, highly talented recruit out of high school, has done a lot of the dirty work the last year and a half for this football team, and he's getting rewarded today. It's a nice job by that young man. It's across the board. These offensive linemen making it a big hole for Cook to get the big run down the sideline, and then, hey, let's hit the tight end. Nice move, prepared, taking advantage of the situation, not on the touchdown. With Denver, and ultimately propelled them to get them some championship wins.
Todd Gurley may be next. He only lost out by, 22 yards a year ago for the NFL title?
Stable is full, Beth. I mean, they got a lot of options, and they have another option at quarterback.
Yeah, Matthew Downing will come on. Jake Fromm and Justin Fields, their work appears to be done for the day. And let him throw it on his first snap, looking for Trey Blunt, incomplete.
I think the question in the running game is, Nick Chubb was just that big bruiser guy in these SEC games that could just kind of pound it out. Is that guy on this roster? I know Elijah Holyfield, 215 pounds, runs angry, but that'll be the true test when they start to get into SEC play.
That'll start next week at South Carolina. Downing is the freshman out of Alpharetta, Georgia. He'll hand it off to his classmate, Cook. Breaking a tackle, the cutback at midfield and down to the 44. Tackled by number 7, James Bond. And that adds up total with everybody that's had a carry to 253 rush yards today.
Rafer Hudson, there's another guy coming in trying to get his reps, and I still think it starts the offensive line. I just want to specifically watch that last play because there's some backups now in the game. Got Cade Mays in the game. Kendall Baker's in the game, who was a starter at left guard last year. But there's just so much power and thrust and push. And listen, this is tough. Austin Peay is physically getting dominated right now in the third and going into the fourth quarter. And that's what Kirby Smart wanted coming out of this game.
Hudson will push it forward. Let's check into the studio.
Get anything done versus a Georgia defense, you know, what can they see on this film? So they get a nice paycheck, I get it, but for Georgia, did you get enough in this film to get yourself, or this game, to get prepared for South Carolina?
Austin Peay may have just picked up the fumble recovery right here. The Govs get the turnover. Sean Whittinghall able to scoop it up.
And the number one thing is you got to catch the snap, right? And came back with a little heat on that one. Downing wasn't able to handle it. And it got brought back to the left side of his body. But again, those are the things now when you get deep into a game and you're going to your third, fourth guys, and you have a new center in the game. That's Trey Hill coming in. He's going to get some work. Trey Hill's going to probably play 50% of the snaps at left guard as well, just moving and getting in, and they're going to utilize these guys. So these freshman players, they have to be ready because Kirby Smart is going to find out if they can play or not.
Yeah, so I just talked to the referees, and they said by rule they're not allowed a running clock, but if both coaches agree, they can decrease the time, so they're going to do a 10-minute fourth quarter is the word I just got from the line judge here.
Oh.
Yeah, we caught a discussion going on between the two coaches there during the break, and so the final seconds of this third quarter will wind down, and according to Rocky, we will have a shortened fourth quarter coming up with Georgia leading Austin Peay 45-0 this afternoon here in Athens. All Dogs, nearly 500 yards of total offense today, and pitching the shutout on D. Oats fall on 3rd and 7. The underneath route flag down.
When you move with the tackle for the Dogs, the checker flag.
Let's see what the flag is for there.
Pass interference. Offense number 7. That penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Wearing those when I was a kid, that football helmet with the old plastic chin strap. Some young fans enjoying the day today. They've seen some big plays as well this afternoon for Georgia, including the 72-yard touchdown run for Robertson and the 59-yard touchdown pass from to Hardman.
That's the kind of push you're looking for now. Listen, Austin Peay doesn't have the biggest defensive lineman, and I get that. But moving forward, they're going to be tough to handle with any team they go against. So that's one thing when you're talking about physicality at that position alone, at the offensive line. Kirby Smart's going to be happy.
Big hit and a flag down. On the contact as soon as the receiver caught the football. That is tailback James Cook playing special teams.
Now that looked like forcible contact to the head or neck area all day long.
I could have sworn I thought a hand went up earlier, but maybe not. Wilson doesn't look like he was getting ready to run. Can we go earlier to see? Either way, that's going to take Cook out of the game. Was there a hand that went up, folks, before? Maybe not.
Personal foul. KCI with targeting. Number 6 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The previous play is under review.
And remember, if that's the end for Cook, he'll miss the rest of this game in the first half of next week.
Or the punt coverage team, which means he will miss the first half of the South Carolina game next week.
Now, I like James Cook, but that was a very stupid play. That's been a penalty and a point of emphasis for the last 6 years. It was blatant. He has just got to know better than that.
And it's a fair catch. The fact that he thought that was a nice hit kind of boggles my mind as well. He's an excellent running back. He's got a bright future, but you got to know the rules. If the arm goes up by the guy returning the football, D'Angelo Wilson, you can't touch him. Stay away from him. So he may have missed it. I get that, but it's nowhere to hit a player. That's a very dangerous position.
Yes.
Very tough place to be when you're a punt returner, and that's exactly why this rule was put into place.
Big lick in the backfield. Anderson was the guy that got there. And a loss of 2, Adam Anderson. And again, Kirby Smart, he doesn't think that will necessarily be a big issue moving forward, but it certainly does with the new redshirt rule give you an opportunity to see some young guys in this type of situation early in the season.
Yeah, and he doesn't think it's a big deal, but you're right. I mean, listen, when I was a freshman, a true freshman, I was not ready to play. Now, I wasn't a 5-star guy by any stretch of the imagination. I needed to redshirt. I needed to grow. I needed to play 4 years in college. That was me. So, when they get these top-rated players, these guys are so physically gifted that he anticipates they're not going to stick around that long. So they got to be ready to get on the field, and most of them are ready and prepared to go, talent-wise. Now, knowing the system and understanding what they're trying to do within the scheme is one thing, but keeping it simplistic, like a game today against Austin Peay, where they didn't put a lot in the play, take out of the playbook for a prep for this game, they were able to get a lot of players in.
The Maryland Terrapins on an emotional day with their interim head coach, Matt Canada, following the death of one of their players in the offseason, and the investigation ongoing involving their head coach and some of the members of their staff. The Terrapins win at home for the second year in a row over Tom Herman's Longhorns.
And not to get off that bet, but I'm just watching Austin Peay, and Healy talked about trying to get small wins out of this game. There really wasn't much. I mean, I don't know where they're going to go on the tape and find something positive that came out of this football game to get their team better. You didn't want to get any injuries. They may have lost their center. So again, it's going to be tough.
UCLA hosting Cincinnati. The Chip Kelly era will get underway. Chip returns to the college game. Benico Harley with the catch. Anderson had the cover. Might be the last play of this one. And that will probably do it. The Georgia Bulldogs open up with a shutout win over Austin Peay, 45-0, the final. And the handshake for Kirby Smart and Will Healy. A rough day for the Govs, but they can now set their sights on their FCS schedule and what could still end up being a playoff season for them. And of course for Georgia, their mind's on a playoff as well. Way down the line, they've got work to do as they will open up SEC play on the road at South Carolina next Saturday. Thank you, Rocky. That's it from Athens. Our final score, the Bulldogs beat the Govs 45-0. Coming up next, Cincinnati and UCLA. But for right now, let's get you back to the studio as the Dogs pick up the W to open up the new year.